Good morning, America. Breaking news. Hostages released. IDF video showing 4 female Israeli soldiers handed over by Hamas just hours ago as part of the ceasefire agreement with Israel. Hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees to be released in return, and the Americans expected to be freed.
Breaking overnight, the critical vote in the Senate for Pete Hegseth. J.D. Vance breaking the tie. President Trump's controversial choice to now head the Pentagon. Trump also visiting disaster zones in North Carolina and California, promising aid to one state, making conditions on another. Plus, Trump's deportation campaign kicking off. Migrants in restraints boarding military jets.
Ryan Koberger in court, why lawyers for the man accused of murdering 4 Idaho college students are asking the judge to throw out evidence.
The big chill. The South waking up to another morning of bitter cold. The relief on the way, while rain in the West threatens to cause mudslides over burn scars. Team coverage of the nation's weather picture this morning.
NBA triple header. The big storylines for today's matchups, including a rivalry revival between LeBron James and Steph Curry. Plus, NFL preview. The conference championships, from ticket prices to the star power. Everything you need to know.
And the Bad Bunny beat. The world's #1 song and #1 album, how his love letter to Puerto Rico is touching listeners across generations. Si te quieres divertir.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. We have so much to cover this morning, and we begin with that breaking news. Hamas handing over 4 female Israeli hostages kidnapped during the October 7th massacre.
And Israel releasing this video showing the parents of the 4 hostages watching and cheering as they're being handed over to the Red Cross.
And they weren't the only ones. There were smiles, claps, and more cheers in Tel Aviv as you see the crowd there. And what's been known as Hostage Square as Israelis watch the moment that the women were escorted to freedom. ABC's Britt Clinton is in Tel Aviv with more. Britt, good morning to you. Tell us what that moment was like.
Yeah, good morning, Janae. More extraordinary scenes in Gaza, and now here, a lot of relief in Tel Aviv following celebrations and tears of joy after those 4 hostages were handed over from Hamas.
This morning, the moment 4 Israeli hostages are released by Hamas after 15 months of captivity. Female soldiers Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa and Naama Levy, all 20 years old, as well as 19-year-old Liri Albag, paraded on a stage in carefully choreographed scenes, Hamas projecting an image of order and authority in Gaza City. The young women smiling and waving at the cheering crowd in Palestine Square. The 4 taken captive on October 7th with 1 other Israeli soldier seen in this video. Relief in Tel Aviv, where supporters gathered to watch the moment the hostages are freed.
Emotions running very high here, cheers and clapping as those hostages are handed over from Hamas to the Red Cross.
Their families celebrating as they're handed over to the IDF. Gilly Roman's sister Yarden was returned to Israel in the first hostage prisoner exchange in November 2023.
What would you tell the family members of those hostages released?
Yes. Well, they are experiencing something that I experienced very closely. Their life is going to be turned upside down again, but this time for the upside.
And thousands of displaced Palestinians are on Sunday hoping to go back to what's left of their homes in northern Gaza, where American volunteer Dr. Omar Malas tells us they're returning to devastation.
Unfortunately, there's not really homes to travel back to. It's really just rubble. Certainly we have been seeing some bodies be recovered now.
In total, 33 hostages are set to be released in the first phase of the deal during a 6-week truce. 2 Americans, Keith Siegel and Sagi Dekelchen, are expected to be among those freed. In exchange, Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
Now, in another sign of just how fragile this deal is, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now saying Palestinians won't be able to return to the north unless the release of female civilian Abel Yahud is arranged. Gio?
What a moment for those families, Britt. Thank you so much for that report. And now to President Trump arriving in Las Vegas overnight for a rally today. This after touring disaster zones in North Carolina and Los Angeles. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is in Vegas traveling with the president. Selena, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Gio. President Trump is on his first major trip since his inauguration. He's here in Las Vegas to rally supporters. This coming after he was visiting 2 disaster zones in North Carolina and California, where people are still reeling from the devastating hurricane and fires.
Overnight, President Trump touching down in Las Vegas to rally supporters just hours after touring disaster zones in North Carolina and California.
We're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it as fast as you can.
While Trump promised significant aid to North Carolina, a battleground state that helped Trump win the election, the president said he would only give aid to California on 2 conditions.
I want to see 2 things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
Governor Gavin Newsom fact-checking Trump overnight, saying California pumps as much water now as it could under prior Trump-era policies, and that California residents must show ID to register to vote. President Trump also suggesting he might get rid of FEMA and have states handle their own emergency response. But Trump would need congressional action to shut down the federal agency.
FEMA has really let us down, let the country down.
And overnight, Trump's deportation campaign kicking off, the White House posting these photos of migrants in chains boarding military jets.
Deportation's going very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out.
The flights landed in Guatemala carrying roughly 160 people. This as Trump deploys 1,500 active duty troops to build new barriers along the southern border and help with detection and monitoring. But some local officials say the troops aren't needed. There's been a 60% drop in border encounters after former President Biden implemented new asylum restrictions last spring. Since Trump was sworn in, ICE has been raiding cities across the country, including Boston, New York, and Newark, New Jersey. Newark's mayor says agents raided a small business without a warrant, detaining American citizens in the process.
People were fingerprinted. Pictures of their IDs and face were taken there. When I got this information, I was appalled. None of these people were rapists or murderers or criminals.
The White House says they're first targeting undocumented immigrants who've committed violent crimes. But Trump's border czar Tom Homan tells our chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz that he has this warning for anyone in the country illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country.
And tonight, President Trump is speaking to his supporters here about a campaign promise he made, ending federal taxes on tips. And as you can imagine, guys, this is a pretty popular policy with the many restaurant, casino, and hotel workers here in Vegas. Whip.
One of the many things to watch going forward. Selena Wang, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We go now to Washington, where one of the president's most contentious cabinet nominees won Senate approval overnight by one of the slimmest margins in history. ABC's Perry Russum joins us now. Perry, this required a rare tiebreak.
Yeah, Whit, good morning. This was historic. The second time in U.S. history, a vice president had to step in and cast the tie-breaking vote for a cabinet position.
And the nomination is confirmed.
This morning, Pete Hegseth confirmed as the next Secretary of Defense.
I'm honored to have Pete. I think Pete's going to be a great Secretary of Defense.
Dramatic moments on the Senate floor. With the vote tied 50-50, Vice President J.D. Vance called in to cast the deciding vote.
The vice president votes in the affirmative.
3 Republican senators voting against President Trump's controversial pick to run the Pentagon. Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell.
Pete Hegseth is ready to put forward the program of President Donald Trump.
The military veteran and former Fox News host making an unusual appearance at the Capitol for his confirmation vote. He faced an uphill battle with contentious moments during a Senate hearing.
In political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than standards lethality.
Hegseth fending off allegations of sexual misconduct, financial mismanagement, and alcohol abuse. Allegations he denies. He admits to infidelity.
Am I a perfect man? No. Was I a perfect man? Absolutely not. Do I regret those things? Yes. But is it who I am today? No.
He was accused of sexually assaulting a woman in 2017, an encounter he calls consensual. Sources tell ABC News he settled with the woman for $50,000, fearing the allegation would hurt his career.
Obviously looked at his background, talked to people in his family, talked to friends. I see no problem whatsoever.
Hegseth slammed for his views on women in combat, saying this in November.
Because I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
Hegseth changing his stance, saying he opposes lowering standards and quotas for women in combat roles. A senior Defense Department official says standards have not been lowered and there are no quotas.
And then overnight, Hegseth posting this message on social media. It reads, "Thank you for your confidence, Mr. President. Thank you for the tiebreaker, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, senators, for 50 votes. This is for the troops, for the warriors, for our country. America first every day. We will never back down." Janae?
There you have it. Perry Russum, thank you for that update. Turning now to the ongoing natural disaster in California. After weeks of those catastrophic fires, well, now rain is bringing the threat of mudslides. ABC's Melissa Don is in Malibu with the latest on that. Good morning, Melissa. So much concern there.
Yes, Janae, good morning. Well, it is a welcome relief, right? The rain, it does bring a lot of concerns. Look, at this point, our Santa Ana winds, those red flag warnings, that is now gone. But the concern for mudslides is because you see right here behind us, these hillsides. This is along Pacific Coast Highway here in Malibu. Officials worry just any bit of rain that could fall onto this areas could really trigger these mudslides, which could be detrimental to so many communities and areas that are in the burn scars across Southern California. Now, these areas are under a flood watch, and we are seeing crews working to basically remove vegetation. We've seen them also shoring up some of those hillsides, adding definitely some other barriers to protect different communities, also filling up thousands of sandbags ahead of the rain. And it's critical because, look, LA, we haven't had significant rainfall for months, and it's something that LA officials say they're trying to prevent mud flows, even those debris flows, which could also bring so much of that toxic ash runoff that we've been seeing from these destroyed structures. There's thousands of them that could really bring so much of that dangerous runoff into other communities, even down to the beach and even to the ocean. So, of course, while all of this rain is welcome sight, especially for the firefight and to contain all these blazes that we've been fighting, that increased humidity will also help. But of course, that threat remains for possible mudslides. And of course, this area now under flood watches. Gio.
And we are thinking of all of those homeowners there in Los Angeles. Melissa, thank you so much. And tomorrow we'll have the full forecast in just a moment here. But first, a look at the deep freeze hitting the southeast and the areas getting all of that snow. Greg Dutra from our Chicago station WLS joins us now from Steamboat Springs, Colorado with this. Good morning, Greg. What are you seeing?
Deep freeze in the south for sure. And we here in Steamboat have had snow over the past 3 days, 5 days actually, 3 inches of snow falling during the overnight hours and another half a foot or more falling in higher elevations over the next couple of days. Look at that winter weather advisories that stretch through northern Colorado into the Rockies up to Park City too as you head over to Utah. And the very bitterly cold air that was over us just a couple of days ago has shifted off to the south and east, of course. That is going to stop finally. But one morning here, we got one left of wind chills that are in about the mid-20s before it starts to warm up. And after having the most snow in over 100 years down in New Orleans, look at that temperature on Saturday, mid-50s, 60s on Sunday, 64 degrees on Monday. Everybody warming up, the snow melting, and finally coming out of the deep freeze not only here, but across the east. Back to you, Whit.
That will be a big relief for them. Greg, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We turn now to the new court hearings in the murder case of 4 Idaho college students. Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney is arguing some evidence against him should be thrown out. ABC's Zoreen Shah joins us now with the details. Zoreen, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Kohberger's lawyers are making a case to exclude pieces of evidence from his murder trial in August. They say investigators left out key pieces of information and were too broad in their description in order to get search warrants, and that police misconduct is at play.
This morning, defense attorneys for Bryan Kohberger back in a Boise, Idaho courtroom, contesting what they say was excessive police force during his arrest and asking the judge to throw out key evidence to prosecutors.
There was simply no reason to bash the doors in momentarily after yelling from their barricades.
Kohberger's lawyers say police raided his parents' Pennsylvania home in December of 2022 unannounced, without giving Kohberger a chance to surrender himself.
It's not typical that the police simply don't knock and announce at all. They usually give the person the opportunity to surrender.
The judge explaining why such force may have been necessary.
There's two issues. There's officer safety. There's also destruction of evidence concerns.
But Kohberger's lawyers firing back.
The only thing they knew is that he's walking around from room to room and that he has some kitchen gloves on.
Well, that's not all they knew, but I won't go into the detail.
The defense arguing that investigators were intentionally misleading in obtaining search warrants and that the entire investigation has been shrouded in secrecy.
This is a situation where this identification was done in complete secret behind closed doors.
Kohberger is charged with 4 counts of murder in the deaths of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez, who were stabbed in an off-campus home near the University of Idaho campus. A not guilty plea has been entered on his behalf. No murder weapon was ever found, so prosecutors dug into Kohberger's online history and requested details on whether he had Amazon searches pertaining to knives to try and bolster their case.
The government cannot seize the haystack to look for a needle, and there is undisputed privacy interest in cell phone data.
But prosecutors say the warrants were perfectly within accepted legal bounds.
All of these warrants were not general warrants. They were all sufficiently particular.
Investigators say they used genetic genealogy to match Kohberger's DNA to the DNA authorities say was found on the bottom snap of a knife sheath at the crime scene. A tactic Kohberger's lawyers have long argued is flawed.
At best, the defense may be successful in getting what's called some limiting instructions, meaning that the evidence will come in at the time of trial, but it will come in with some instructions by the judge to the jury. This is very typical in a case of this nature, given the serious charges that have been filed.
The judge still has to rule on the evidence. Here's the question. Will any of it be suppressed? And if so, which parts? The next hearing for this case is set for April 3rd. Janae?
All right, Doreen, thank you. Well, this morning, if you're planning to do any grocery shopping, you should know that egg prices are soaring, now approaching $7 a dozen nationwide. And this is as the growing bird flu outbreak spreads to more producers. ABC's Morgan Norwood is here now to break it all down. Morgan, when you hear how much a dozen eggs cost, you see the impact.
Yeah, so many folks are feeling it and no relief in sight either, Janae. Good morning. The bird flu outbreak in livestock showing no signs of slowing down, and it's impacting everything from your grocery bill and potentially your pet's food. New poultry infections detected in 28 states just this month alone. And so far, CDC reports 67 confirmed cases here in the U.S., and that's mostly in people who had direct contact with infected livestock. The virus has led to 1 death in Louisiana, with 2 cases involving children over in California. Now, the illness is hitting commercial flocks especially hard on Long Island. Workers began this week euthanizing nearly 100,000 ducks after bird flu was confirmed. In the past 3 months alone, 36 million egg-laying hens have been lost to the virus. Now, the result, as Janae just pointed out, the wholesale egg prices now soaring. Look at that. Nearly $7 per dozen, $9 over in California, where cage-free laws are in place. Prices have hit $9, and experts say it could take up to 9 months to replenish that supply. But again, the CDC is, saying the risk to the general public remains low, with no evidence of person-to-person spread. And while the federal government has stockpiled 10 million vaccines as a precaution, health officials again reassured that the food supply is safe. But the FDA, of course, asking pet owners to also take precaution as well.
Yeah.
Wow, Morgan, I cannot believe that 100,000 ducks, 36 million egg-laying hens, all lost to the virus. And this comes as the Trump administration orders federal health agencies to halt external communications as we get all these recalls and things.
Yeah, and that can seem really concerning, but they do say that all of that is going to, in terms of the external communications, that should be back online by the end of the month. But with the spread of the virus in livestock, there are a couple of things that you can do. Of course, follow your general food safety precautions. Make sure that you're cooking your food thoroughly, and then follow food safety handling practices. They also stress to avoid raw, unpasteurized milk.
All right. Let's hope they get a handle of this very soon, right?
Yeah.
The number of eggs I eat.
I was just going to say, nobody eats it. Gio's going bankrupt over this. His egg budget through the roof.
That's true, Morgan. Thank you so much.
Let's talk about football now, because it is championship weekend in the NFL. 2 more games to play before the Super Bowl. Ike Ejiachi is here breaking it all down with a preview.
Hey, good morning, Whit. We got 2 big games, 2 big stories. Patrick Mahomes chasing history, trying to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And the rookie phenom, J.D. Hayden Daniels trying to do something the Commanders haven't done in 33 years, which is make a Super Bowl. The I-95 showdown between Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles is breaking ticket sales records, outselling the AFC matchup by more than double. According to TickPick, it's the most expensive NFC Championship game on record. And this year, it's all about the visitors. Both Commanders and Bills fans are reportedly buying up large numbers of tickets to see their team play away from home. The Buffalo Bills are looking to break their 0-3 playoff record against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Bills Mafia showing up, outpacing sales from each of their last 3 meetings. Home teams, well, they'll be bringing the star power themselves. Expect to see nonstop shots of Taylor Swift, Paul Rudd, so many more in the Chiefs' eyes. As for the Eagles, superfan Bradley Cooper and girlfriend Gigi Hadid will join a very well-behaved feather friend Lincoln. The bald eagle will surely be soaring through the Phillies' home field. Yes,
Mike,
and what an
thank you so
emotional
much.
ride for our friend Herm Edwards, posting on Instagram. How about that, huh?
Oh, we love Herm. Thank you so much, Ike, and stick around. We'll be right back here on GMA.
And welcome back to GMA here. Let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're following here on this Saturday morning. Happening right now, a woman is under arrest for the fatal shooting of a Border Patrol agent in Vermont. David Chris Malin was shot and killed during a traffic stop on I-91 near the Canadian border. One suspect was killed in the shootout, a second suspect wounded and now facing charges.
Also, right now, check your medicine cabinets because a popular skincare brand, First Aid Beauty, is recalling more than 2,700 jars of its Ultra Repair Cream in the coconut vanilla scent. The company says the cream was accidentally distributed despite being intended for quarantine. The FDA says the recall was due to a current good manufacturing practice deviation, which doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with the product, but caution.
And American tennis player Madison Keys upset 2-time defending champion and #1 singles player Aryna Sabalenka in 3 sets to win the Australian Open. This is Keys' first major title. Amazing match between the two.
I love the way that you said her name.
Sabalenka.
Sabalenka.
No, she is tough to beat. So it's a big win for
you
Keys,
brought out
the
your old
American.
announcer, too. You used to call basketball games
I
in
was a
college.
PA announcer, college
did.
basketball games. Yeah.
Whit Johnson. All right. We start this half hour with a look at the top political headlines. Joining us this morning from Las Vegas is senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, and from Washington, ABC News contributing political correspondent Rachel Bade. Welcome to you both, ladies. Selena, let's start with you first. This is President Trump's first week back in office. You're traveling with him there in Vegas. How is he approaching his second term differently than his first? We know that it's a lot easier because he has been in the White House before.
Exactly. And Janae, first of all, it's hard to believe that it's only been a week given the nonstop headlines. And Trump is really making a show of force by signing this blitz of executive orders. He wants to prove to his supporters that he's moving fast to make good on their campaign promises, whether that's pardoning the January 6 riots or mass deportations. And Trump, of course, as you say, he knows how to actually do the job this time around. He's had years to prepare, and he's also staffed the top administration positions with loyalists who will carry out his demands. But look, Trump is already facing legal pushback on some of his more controversial actions, especially when it comes to his effort to end birthright citizenship. But President Trump's team, we're told by sources, is expecting and prepared for this. And we're told that Trump himself believes that by flooding the zone with the sheer volume of executive orders that he's issued, he believes that this is going to make it harder to mount those legal challenges.
A lot to watch there. And Rachel, let's talk about TikTok. Is President Trump at odds with Republicans over the future of TikTok?
Yeah, well, Gio, there's been a lot of unity in the Republican Party, obviously, this week. But on this area in particular, they are absolutely on a collision course. I mean, I can't tell you how many Republicans I have heard from who are privately upset that in one of his first acts as president, Donald Trump basically stopped this TikTok ban. I mean, these are Republicans who believe that China is spying on Americans through that app. And it's why they give the company this sort of ultimatum. Either you sell to someone else or we're going to ban you here in the United States. Now, Donald Trump has given the company 75 more days to basically sell, even though there's little indication that they're going to do that. But the most interesting thing to me is that I've talked to a lot of Trump's inner circle, people who are close to him, and they don't actually think it's a national security threat. So the party really, this is all going to come to a head pretty soon, Gio.
Yeah, and millions of Americans waiting to see how that plays out. Selena, let's turn back to you and the issue of tariffs. President Trump vowed to impose tariffs on U.S. trading partners right away. So where does that promise stand now?
Yeah, well, this campaign vow has businesses across America on edge. President Trump is now saying that he's targeting February 1st to impose tariffs of 25% on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China. Now, we're talking about America's three biggest trading partners here. So if Trump actually went through with this would upend global trade, global supply chains, and increase prices on everything from cars, clothes to oil. But the big question here, of course, is whether or not Donald Trump actually makes good on this promise, or if he's simply using this as negotiating leverage. Earlier this week, President Trump did say that he could impose tariffs of as high as 100% on China if the Chinese government does not approve a deal for TikTok. And remember, guys, tariffs are essentially a tax on goods that U.S. companies pay when they import goods from overseas. So the cost of that is largely passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. And that is something that President Trump doesn't want to show supporters when he's also promised to bring down the cost of goods, guys.
Yeah, well, tariffs certainly a big talker, as is the issue of DEI. So, Rachel, this is absolutely proving to be divisive. Lots of companies are dialing back their initiatives, while others are doubling down and reaffirming them. What's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, this has been at the center of the culture wars for a while, but what Donald Trump did this week is really supercharge this issue when he signed a slew of executive orders, not only getting rid of DEI programs here in the federal government, but suggesting that he's going to have agency heads investigate the private sector and their own sort of practices with DEI. Now, look, I mean, after the Supreme Court said that affirmative action was unconstitutional, we did see this sort of rightward shift on this with companies like McDonald's and Walmart getting rid of their DEI programs. Yesterday, Target became the latest to actually join this trend, and you can bet with Donald Trump getting involved in his administration moving on this, we're going to see a lot more companies move in that direction.
And with so much going on in the political world, we sure appreciate having you both, Rachel Bade and Selena Wang. Thank you so much for joining us with that.
All right, coming up here on GMA, thank you, Samara. We appreciate it. LeBron James, Steph Curry, they're going head-to-head today. What to expect from this iconic rivalry?
You know tank tops are your thing.
Sure. Cut off. We're back now on GMA, and a young NBA superstar returns home. Victor Wembanyama has taken the league by storm, and now he's back in his home country of France to play two high-profile NBA games there. ESPN NBA reporter Brian Windhorst is in Paris with all of the excitement. Brian, it's great to have you with us this morning. So let's jump right into this interview you had. You sat down with Victor for that exclusive conversation, and you asked him if he'd like to be the face of the NBA in the future. Here's what he had to say.
I'd embrace it for sure. For me, the way I approach things is making sure I'm the guy in the NBA today that works the hardest. If you take that day, January 22nd or whatever, I want to be the one who takes my routine the most seriously and does my recovery and everything. So, brick by brick.
So, Brian, how important is Wemby to not only the Spurs but the league?
Yeah, he's a big part of the league's present and future. On this court here in Paris last summer at the Olympics, we saw this amazing moment where LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, really the three guys who've carried the NBA for the last 15, 20 years, were a part of an incredible gold medal game against Victor Wembanyama. But those guys are all in their mid to late 30s. LeBron has already had his 40th birthday. The league has to begin to look to the next generation, just as LeBron came in when Michael Jordan was retiring. And Victor Wembanyama could be the centerpiece of that. He's obviously 7'4" and incredibly talented. We've never seen a player this big and this skilled before, but he has an ability to deliver in the moment, which he did here 2 days ago in front of a national adoring audience. He had a 30-point game. That's what the NBA needs on this stage and at big stages in the U.S. in the coming years.
It certainly does. Brian, we were live shot mates out there in Paris during the Olympics last summer, so nice to see you again.
That's right.
ABC is featuring an NBA triple header today. So let's start with the final game, an iconic rivalry, LeBron's Lakers versus Steph's Warriors. What can we expect from this matchup today?
Well, they played on Christmas Day and played one of the most intriguing games of the season so far in the Bay. And right now, at this moment, both of these teams are in bad need of victory. The Warriors have really been struggling due to injury. Steph Curry has been under attack from opposing defenses because some of his teammates have been injured. He had 38 points on Christmas Day. He's probably going to need something like that today. The Lakers are beginning a 6-game road trip with this game. They need to pick up some easy wins on this trip. And frankly, right now, beating the Warriors would be considered an easy win. So we'll see how that rematch goes.
All right, Brian, let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks hosting the reigning champ Boston Celtics, meeting for the first time since the 2024 NBA Finals. So how can the Mavericks get revenge here?
Yeah, the Celtics have been struggling a little bit. They're coming off a West Coast trip. This is the 6th game of a road trip. They're a little bit tired. They just got beat handily the other night in Los Angeles. They need this win, and the reason they need it is because Dallas is struggling with injuries. We've seen several of their top players, including Luka Doncic, not available recently. So this is really a showdown with Kyrie Irving playing on his home court, needing a star appearance to carry the Mavericks to a victory over the visiting Celtics.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate a great interview with Wembanyama, too. Thanks for bringing that to us.
Thank you.
And again, you can watch the NBA triple header, which also includes the Nuggets versus the Timberwolves today, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on ABC.
Music superstar Bad Bunny's songs are resonating with listeners across generations. With 3 hits among the top 10 on the Billboard 100 charts, he's sparking conversations about connections and culture. La cultura. ABC's Alex Perez has more.
Vamos a ver qué tenemos para los niñitos. On January 5th, the world held its breath when international superstar Bad Bunny announced the release of his 6th studio album, DeBÍ TiRAR MÁS FOToS, which translates to I should have taken more photos. The release almost immediately creating global shockwaves, igniting a worldwide phenomenon. Dominating social media, quickly catapulting the record into uncharted territory. And even surprise performances by Benito himself, sampling some of Puerto Rico's most beloved salsa hits of yesteryear. The music resonating deeply with fans, sparking nostalgia and a cultural reset for many in the Latino community and beyond.
I knew the song, the previous salsa song, and then he drops the beat. I was like, all right, now I got to act like a fool, and I got to start dancing around.
Me encantó, porque es la combinación del old school salsa con el nuevo hit o el ritmo de Bad Bunny.
I feel like we're going back and connecting to our roots.
Luis A. Miranda Jr., author and father to filmmaker and playwright Lin-Manuel Miranda, was in Puerto Rico when Bad Bunny's new music debuted.
The song immediately captured the feeling of so many Puerto Ricans who feel that their identity after 500 years of colonialism has been disappearing.
Many describing the album as a love letter to Puerto Rico, Rolling Stone giving it a 5-star review.
This is a record in which he is thinking about ways in which to affirm Puerto Ricanness at a moment in which our peoples and our cultures are being displaced.
In under 3 weeks, Bad Bunny commanding the top spot, claiming the #1 song and album in the world, becoming the male artist to hit 1 billion Spotify streams the fastest, and selling out his 30-show residency in Puerto Rico in just hours.
Si te quieres divertir.
Oh, come on, don't stop the music. Yes, it's still going. Oh, I can't, like, that album is
It's
so good.
We all said that we were listening to it this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, come on, that beat. Yes.
And
We'll be right back.
One song to Puerto
You're scaring the viewers, Gio.
Good morning, America. It's our second hour. Breaking news, hostages release. IDF video showing 4 female Israeli soldiers handed over by Hamas just hours ago as part of the ceasefire agreement with Israel. Hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees to be released in return, and the Americans expected to be free.
As extreme cold grips so much of the country, staying safe on the road, what to do and what not to do in snowy and icy conditions, the must-see road test.
The cosmetic treatments you should leave to the pros, and which procedures and devices are safe enough to try at home.
It feels good.
Cooped up inside, this mom influencer is bringing us all the tips to keep everyone engaged. Entertaining the kids has never been this fun.
Snow volcanoes! This is a really fun activity to do in the winter.
And we're saying, good morning, America.
It's Saturday morning. This is GMA.
Good morning, America. Doesn't that sound good? Coming up, an incredible and true story of survival turned TV show. How two Airbnb hosts helped save a life. Will Gans shares a preview of Hulu's series, The Best Heart Attack of My Life.
Wow. Looking forward to that. Yeah, absolutely. Plus, what Pete Hegseth said overnight after the Senate voted to confirm him as defense secretary. And the latest on President Donald Trump's crackdowns on immigration.
But first, we are going to begin here with Hamas handing over 4 female Israeli hostages kidnapped 15 months ago during the October 7th massacre. There were smiles, claps, and cheers in Tel Aviv and what's been known as Hostage Square as Israelis watched the moment that the women were escorted to freedom. ABC's Britt Clennett has been following it all. She's in Tel Aviv right now. Britt, good morning to you.
Hi, Gio. Yeah, we've seen those hostages now reunited with their families. That prompted more celebrations here at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Now, they're being assessed at a hospital in central Israel. And this, Gio, after extraordinary scenes in Gaza, with Hamas really presenting a show of dominance with a message that it's still in control even after 15 months of war.
This morning, the moment 4 Israeli hostages are released by Hamas after 15 months of captivity. Female soldiers Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa and Naama Levy, all 20 years old, as well as 19-year-old Liri Albag, paraded on a stage in carefully choreographed scenes, Hamas projecting an image of order and authority in Gaza City. The young women smiling and waving at the cheering crowd in Palestine Square. The 4 taken captive on October 7th with one other Israeli soldier seen in this video. Relief in Tel Aviv, where supporters gathered to watch the moment the hostages are freed.
Emotions running very high here, cheers and clapping as those hostages are handed over from Hamas to the Red Cross.
Their families celebrating as they're handed over to the IDF. And thousands of displaced Palestinians are on Sunday hoping to go back to what's left of their homes in northern Gaza, where American volunteer Dr. Omar Malas tells us they're returning to devastation.
Unfortunately, there's not really homes to travel back to. It's really just rubble.
In total, 33 hostages are set to be released in the first phase of the deal during a 6-week truce. 2 Americans, Keith Siegel and Sagi Dekelchen, are expected to be among those freed. In exchange, Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
Now, Israeli authorities confirming the release of 200 Palestinian prisoners in exchange, some of them serving life sentences. But nothing about this deal has been straightforward. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now saying Palestinians won't be allowed to return to the north until the release of female civilian Arbel Yahud is arranged. Janae?
We'll be watching for that. Britt, thank you for that update. Back here at home, President Trump is holding a rally in Las Vegas later today, and that comes one day after touring disaster zones in both North Carolina and out west in Los Angeles. ABC's White House correspondent Selena Wang is in Vegas traveling with the president. Good morning again to you, Selena.
Hey, good morning, Janae. President Trump is on his first major trip since his inauguration. He's here today in Las Vegas to rally his supporters. This comes after he toured the disaster sites in North Carolina and California, where people are still reeling from the devastating fires and hurricane.
Overnight, President Trump touching down in Las Vegas to rally supporters just hours after touring disaster zones in North Carolina and California.
We're going to fix it. And we're going to fix it as fast as you can.
While Trump promised significant aid to North Carolina, a battleground state that helped Trump win the election, the president said he would only give aid to California on 2 conditions.
I want to see 2 things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
Governor Gavin Newsom fact-checking Trump overnight, saying California pumps as much water now as it could under prior Trump-era policies. President Trump also suggesting he might get rid of FEMA and have states handle their own emergency response. And overnight, Trump's deportation campaign kicking off, the White House posting these photos of migrants in chains boarding military jets.
Deportation's going very well. We're getting the bad, hard criminals out.
The flights landed in Guatemala, carrying roughly 160 people. Since Trump was sworn in, ICE has been raiding cities across the country, including Boston, New York, and Newark, New Jersey. Newark's mayor says agents raided a small business without a warrant, detaining American citizens in the process.
When I got this information, I was appalled.
The White House says they're first targeting undocumented immigrants who've committed violent crimes. But Trump's border czar Tom Homan tells our chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz that he has this warning for anyone in the country illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country.
And tonight, Trump is speaking to supporters here about a campaign promise he made, getting rid of federal taxes on tips. So as you can imagine, guys, this is a pretty popular policy with the many restaurant, casino, and hotel workers here in Las Vegas. Whit.
Selena weighing for us. Thank you so much. And President Trump's nominee, Pete Hegseth, now confirmed as the next Secretary of Defense. Dramatic moments on the Senate floor, though, with the vote tied 50-50. Vice President J.D. Vance called in to cast the deciding vote. 3 Republican senators voting against President Trump's controversial pick to run the Pentagon. Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell. Hegseth, a military veteran and former Fox News host, making an unusual appearance at the Capitol for his confirmation vote.
All right, Whit, and in Southern California, more weather troubles as much-needed rain sparks mudslide warnings. Drought-stricken and wildfire-ravaged areas of Southern California welcoming this weekend's rain. Some places could see as much as an inch of water. But while that provides a much-needed break for fire crews, it could also increase the potential for flash flooding and mudslides on the torched hillsides. A lot going on there.
Yep. All right, coming up here on GMA in the morning menu, driving in ice and snow, the tips you need to know to stay safe when the roads get treacherous.
Oh, also ahead, fun crafts for your kids while cold weather keeps everyone all cooped up inside.
And Tori Johnson is here with winter skincare teals. We'll be right back. You're watching GMA on this Saturday morning.
Back now with our GMA cover story, driving in winter weather. More than 1,300 people in the U.S. die every year on snowy, slushy, or icy roads, and more than 100,000 are injured. And with so much of the country facing extreme cold, Matt Gutman has a demo that you don't want to miss for staying safe behind the wheel. Watch this.
Here at Team O'Neill Rally School, they train drivers for the worst roads winter has to offer. Back in 2022, I got in the driver's seat, all to show you how to avoid heart-pounding scenes like this. And this. This SUV in Nebraska sliding across 2 lanes of traffic before flipping into a ditch. One of the most elusive obstacles, black ice. And here's one way to spot it. When the ground is wet, tires make a sizzling sound. That's water spraying off the road. But if the ground looks wet and you don't hear that sizzle or see the spray coming off the car in front of you, you're likely on black ice. And that can occur even in above freezing temperatures as high as 45 degrees, since pavement can be cooler than the air. Team O'Neill putting me on this controlled icy course live on GMA. We set up these barriers to simulate a hazard on the road.
A hazard that you don't see coming in wintry conditions when there's a whiteout or a snowstorm and something just comes in front of your car stops short, an animal jumps in.
First, I demonstrate what experts tell us not to do in these conditions.
Going too fast, I'm gonna panic, I'm gonna slam on the brakes.
And I'm gonna turn the wheel hard all at the same time.
Now I'm driving at 40 miles an hour. There, I register that there's a problem. Oh my God, there, I'm gonna slam into the... and slam into the snowbank behind me. I am okay. I braked as hard as I could. Everything is fine here.
Here's what I should have done. When approaching a turn or trying to avoid an obstacle on a slick road, only perform one action at a time. While holding the wheel steady, gently press on the brakes to slow the vehicle. Once at a safe speed, release the brake and then make your turn. Once the wheel is straight again, then accelerate. Try to avoid turning the wheel while braking or accelerating, but if you have to do it all gently.
You don't want to put too many inputs into the car at once. The car's not going to be able to handle it. So what you want to do is think about doing one of those things at a time. Brake, then turn.
I tried again, this time slower, braking gently in a straight line, then easing into the turn.
I see this, I'm braking, but now I'm looking where I want to go and I'm able to swerve out of the way,
safely avoiding that collision. For Good Morning America, Matt Gutman, Dalton, New Hampshire.
Really important stuff there, Matt. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's talk about a new limited series on Hulu. It's got an ironic title, The Best Heart Attack of My Life. Will Gans is here with a preview. What's the title about? What's going on?
That's my nickname. Every time I show up in a room, there he is, the best heart attack of my life. No. But with a title like this, the tension in this show shows up around every corner in this new Hulu series. You're on the edge of your seat just waiting for the titular crisis to strike our main character, who is a real guy, by the way. He spoke with us about how the worst moment of his life became the best.
Apologies to any other near-death experiences, but this is the best heart attack of my life. A brand new Hulu series inspired by the true story of Hernan Casciari, who suffered a heart attack while staying at an Airbnb in Uruguay. The rental host rushing him to the hospital and ultimately saving his life. Hernan's review of the Airbnb going viral, thanks to Airbnb CEO Joe Gebbia's 2016 TED Talk.
Excellent house for sedentary travelers prone to myocardial infarctions.
But that heart attack set Hernan on a path to self-discovery, a journey that would change his life for the better.
El ataque cardíaco que sufrí, el verdadero, cambió mi vida absolutamente. Y en cada uno de los ítems de mi vida, el que quieras, vida personal, vida laboral, salud, todo mejoró.
Hernan himself and Alan Savach, who plays Hernan in the dark comedy with a whole lot of heart, telling us the series will give you some new perspective.
Esta historia sea una comedia hace que entre como si fuese un dulce y una vez adentro de tu cuerpo te exploten las ideas y te ponga a pensar sobre la manera en que estás llevando tu vida.
Fue un antes y un después. La cabeza te hace un clic. And now if you ask Hernan, the language of the heart is universal.
Tiene algo que habla de humanidad.
And all 6 episodes of The Best Heart Attack of My Life are streaming now on Hulu. So for me, watching it, it sort of felt like Baby Reindeer, where at the beginning, you know things are going to go so south, but you're laughing until they do. So it's sort of that like, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting watch. Although now, you know, we interviewed the main guy, so, you know, he survives. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thanks, you ruined it.
Cleared that up. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
It is time now for Deals and Steals, and this morning Tori Johnson is focusing on self-care from small businesses. Tori, good morning to you.
Good morning. I feel like Janae and Gio should be over here too because they're like our resident.
We got security to hold them back so they didn't steal the products today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting with, I got to tell you, Oak Essentials. For 2 years, I have begged them to come to GMA Deals.
Okay.
They cannot keep their products in stock, so they've never have inventory for us, but they planned for now. This is their best-selling moisture-rich balm.
Oh,
so
wow.
you see, looks like a balm here, but then as you touch it and as you put it on, it's incredible on the skin.
Let me
you
get
could
in on
use
this, yeah.
Yep. So it's incredible on the skin. It's going to deeply moisturize. It gives you a really luminous kind of not what you need because your skin is already phenomenal. But for me,
This is just makeup,
this like no makeup glow. It's phenomenal. Everything from this company, clean, efficacious formulas, all made in America. Great too for sensitive skin, and all 50% off today, starting at $14. You can't go wrong with anything. I wish I could tell you about every product.
And you said the men can get on this too. This is not just
100%.
not just for the ladies.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, Mara is another award-winning phenomenal line made in America, and it's all about algae. That is their core ingredient, one of their best-selling products. This one right here. First of all, the bottle's beautiful.
Okay, can I go into it?
No, because this is a cleansing oil.
Oh, yes,
so it's
we
a
don't need
cleansing
that.
oil.
Yes,
so you
not
don't
yet.
need that right now. But all of these are designed to remove every single bit of dirt, makeup, grime, even SPF that's traditionally hard to get off of your face. It will also help to gently exfoliate because of the ingredients that are in it. All of these, though, are designed to help to really moisturize. If you've got any kind of irritation in your skin, this is a great line for you. That powerful nutrients that are in algae, it's just your face loves it, your skin loves it. All 50% off, starting at $13.
Especially in the winter too. Everybody's like
100%.
struggling with dry skin and all of that.
Exactly. All right, serious skincare. It's called, started by former model Jennifer Flavin, also known as Mrs. Sly Stallone.
They're serious
We've got
about
3
this.
different collections here. Most popular, I would say, is the Reverse Lift collection. This one is all about, this chin one is all about sculpting for an even more perfect jawline. So we want that jaw like you. That's the product to get. Why not?
Sure.
All 50% off. The 3 collections are terrific, depending on your specific skin concern. These start at 50% off.
All right, sculpting.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Good Patch, making also its weekend debut. What I love about these are all they started with wellness patches. I'm wearing one on my wrist. This is the Be Awake.
Oh, okay.
That's B12 that's infused in there. But their eye gels are also phenomenal. So these would go right under your eyes for depuffing, this specific one. They're also really known for, feel this, feel that right there. Do you feel that? Those little, those are micro darts. You would use that area right here if you've got any kind of fine lines. This is one where you can kind of see the results. So whether you put it on for 2 hours or wear it overnight, you wake up and you're like, oh, my skin looks better right there. Do you feel that? You can feel those little micro darts.
Yeah, I can see that.
All of these 50% off. The set start at $12.
And trade secret, we all use these eye
We all
picks.
use those eye picks.
Yeah,
Exactly. When you need a little boost,
early in the morning
get
on a
enough sleep.
weekend. Yeah, I got it.
BioEffect. This is a great line for mature skin. Highly recommended and always requested by our viewers. One of their secret ingredients is their EGF serum, which is in all of the products, stands for epidermal growth factor. You can't resist. Okay.
You said skincare. We just want to see what's going on.
That's hair care over there, but this one's skincare. So this is going to help with your skin to naturally produce collagen, which we lose as we age. So these are great products, all 50% off, plus free shipping from BioEffect.
Free shipping, you got it.
And then finally, we're ending on hair care. This is Bosley.
This is the one Gio's been waiting for.
Okay, so a couple things. First one, this one's for women, the Mend Extend. For women who have hair loss from breakage.
Postpartum?
This is, yes, because of breakage. Yes, it breaks.
I love that there's an MD attached to this.
Yes, there's a system for this. Then the other popular one is this 30-day volumizing system. Ooh. So if you've got hair that appears thinner and you need more volume, 30-day system here. All of these systems slashed in half, plus free shipping from Bosley MD.
And they say 30 days guaranteed.
They do. They do.
I like
guaranteed, slash in half, and free shipping.
Look at that.
I mean,
as always,
can't beat that.
Yeah, we're gonna get security back on the product so it doesn't go anywhere. You got it. We've partnered with all these companies. Each deal's on our website, goodmorningamerica.com. To win the weekend and some adorable animals in Texas enjoying a rare snowfall. Check out the Houston Zoo right here. The animals loving the snowstorm. There's the elephant right there. Also, there were some capybaras. The elephant's having a great time. That's capybara. Kind of looks like some of the New York City rats that we have. Sorry, but
that's fair. What is this called?
But look at this capybara.
Capybara. And this, this Northern American river otter knows what it's all about, frolicking and sliding in the snow. And as for the sea lions, well, they were motoring around in temperature-cooled water.
Oh, the zoo also posted some amazing shots like this one of a pride of lions. Check that out. And look at Lisa the leopard. Ooh. Looking right out at home in the wintry weather. How beautiful is that? The zoo also thanked their staff who are helping make sure that all of these animals are nice and warm.
Baby.
Popular, you're gonna be popular. I'll teach you the proper poise when you talk to boys. The ways to alert and flounce. Ew, I'll show you what shoes to wear.
Popular.
My kids love that song. I got it stuck in my head.
Hopefully not with your voice.
No, I know. It's creepy when I say it. Huh? Welcome back. That, of course, is Ariana Grande. She says it much better than I do. Performing Popular as Glinda in Wicked, the movie landing 10 Oscar nominations this week. Grande scoring her very first Oscar nod as Best Supporting Actress. Her co-star, Cynthia Erivo, with the nomination in the Best Actress category, and the movie up for Best Picture. Well,
I mean, and we just loved that movie.
Yeah.
The Oscars air right here on ABC on Sunday, March 2nd.
Looking forward to see how that movie does. Now to some of the other top headlines that we're following right now. 4 Israeli female soldiers have been released by Hamas after 15 months of captivity as part of the ceasefire agreement with Israel. The hostages taken captive October 7th, 2023, with a group of fellow Israeli soldiers. Their families, you see there, celebrating the moment that they were handed over to the IDF. Hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees are also set to be released in return.
And Spirit Airlines has updated its dress code for passengers. The airline released its new regulations that include several reasons why a passenger would not be permitted to board an aircraft. Among them, offensive clothing, offensive odor, and any body art that is deemed lewd, obscene, or offensive.
And more than a dozen U.S. states could see the colorful northern lights this weekend. The states with the highest chances of seeing the auroras include Alaska, Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, and others. A solar storm is making the lights more widely visible than normal. Pretty cool.
That is very cool, Whit. Thanks for that. Now we are with board-certified dermatologist Dr. Dendy Engelman with some tips on which cosmetic procedures are effective and safe enough to do at home and what we should leave to the pros like you, Dr. Dendy. Thank you so much for being here. Gio is super excited that you're here.
Yeah, you know you can't do this segment alone.
You're his girl.
She's my dermatologist.
There you go. That's why his face is so cute and so beautiful. So, okay, what we can leave to the pros, what we can do at home. Let's start right here. Let's start with devices and treatments that are better left in the hands of a professional.
Yes, well, Gio and Janae, you would be shocked how many people order things off the internet and try to DIY some stuff at home.
You don't mean Botox?
I do mean Botox cosmetic. They don't get Botox cosmetic online.
Okay.
They get some kind of botched
like
toxin.
whatever it is.
Yeah. And they try to inject it at home, and that it could be catastrophic, if not fatal.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave Botox cosmetic to the professionals, as well as filler, chemical peels. I had one patient who ordered 70% glycolic off the internet, burned her face off, scars, infection, even people trying to remove their own moles and skin tags. So let's leave all of this to the hands of the board-certified trained professionals. But there are things you can do at home that are safe and effective.
And that's
as well.
what's so interesting because a lot of the stuff, maybe in the past, was not as good, but things have changed.
Technology has been amazing for home devices. And so I love LED. That's a great way to help with fine lines, wrinkles, stimulate
this mask
collagen.
is cool one, huh?
Yes, isn't this great? You look like, you know.
Is that a Dr. Grossman mask?
Yes, isn't it Dr. Grossman's mask? He looks like a new Marvel character while he's anti-aging. If you have acne, blue light is really good for that. And these individual ones, this you can put on a spot for blemishes to improve overnight.
Really? These
this
are
one's under the eye, and this is for the lips. So these are targeted. This is full face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cute?
Yes,
So,
that is.
This is actually a lawyer who is in South Carolina who converted and started making these.
That is awesome. Okay, so what about when it comes to hair removal? There's a device that not only works, but it's cost effective.
Yes, so everybody thinks you can just laser away hair, but if it's light or peach fuzz, you cannot laser it. So you have to go with different hair removal techniques. So this was an easy one. It's an epilator, so it pulls the hair out by the root. So it's the same as waxing. So it really has prolonged effect. And then these are for skin tightening. This zip uses electrical stimulation to help tighten the muscles of the skin underneath the skin in order to give you a little lift. And then this uses radio frequency to upregulate your collagen and elastin in your skin so your skin looks tighter and smoother. So all of these are Dr. D approved to use at home.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, this sounds really incredible.
Yes.
But that's good to know, the difference between what we need to leave to the professionals, not order at home to try to do, and what we can do at home.
That's
and other kinds of laser hair removal, we see some of those devices sometimes.
Yes. So they work. They're a little slow and tedious, and you have to be careful based on your skin type. But I feel like if you have dark hair that's thick, you probably should just invest in that and get that in office as well.
All right, good to know, Dr. Denny. Thank you so much for being here. And still coming up here on GMA, fun indoor projects for kids when it's too cold outside. We have some tips to keep everyone entertained when you're snowed in coming up next. Stick around.
All right, we got something for the parents out there. When it's too cold to play outside and there's 12 hours to go before bedtime, you need to get creative, keep the kids engaged and entertained, and that's why mom influencer Shannon Doherty is here with some great projects for indoor fun. Shannon, good morning to you. It's great to have you.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
We're just going over all this stuff. What do we do with the kids? Everybody's cold. Nobody will go outside. So let's start with this DIY hot chocolate Play-Doh.
I have got you covered.
Right?
Yes, we are going to make things with products you have at home. So it's easy and we'll keep your family entertained. First up, hot chocolate Play-Doh. So first, get a packet of hot chocolate. Put it right in. We're going to do the dry ingredients and then the wet. So then you're going to add some salt, some flour, some cream of tartar.
Go ahead, shoot.
And a little cocoa powder. And then you're going to add some oil and water and just start whisking.
Okay. All the things.
And then the secret is you're going to heat it on the stove for a little bit, which we can't do here, but you just whisk, heat it, and then it turns out after a few minutes into this really
Not with
cool
Whit doing it, so we'll
Play-Doh.
skip ahead.
And it smells, how good does that smell? And we put it in little mugs to make hot cocoa looking and your cookie cutters.
Stir it up.
See, he's professional. So easy, and your kids will absolutely love it.
But they cannot eat it, right?
I mean, it's edible.
Oh,
it
it
does
is.
not taste like hot chocolate, so not recommended, but
Honestly,
it's 100% edible.
It's probably healthier than like actual Play-Doh.
1,000%.
Your kids can eat
There you go.
Play-Doh.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, okay, when it's snowy outside, you can make snow inside too.
Yes,
and
it's been
pretty
so
easy.
cold. It's almost too cold to go
Freezing.
out. So we are bringing the snow inside, and all you need is baking soda and conditioner. It's so easy. So I put the baking soda in your bowl, get some hair conditioner, and a little trick, if you put the baking soda in the freezer overnight, it'll be cold. Put it in and just start mixing it.
Okay.
And it turns into this adorable, you
puffy.
can see in front, it turns into this really cool snow.
Wow.
And then I like to
so
make it
easy.
a little extra. I make snow paint, which you can also
take it to
bring
the next
outside
level.
with some Kool-Aid mixed in your water.
And you can
Why didn't Janae pick the yellow snow?
I know.
Because I'm showing where you
yellow
play
is a fun
outside.
one, guys. Yeah, we was playing outside.
Who let the dog into the project?
You can make sun shapes, okay? It's beautiful.
It's okay, okay, good.
You can also make little volcanoes by putting. Okay, so put a cup in your snow. You can do this inside or outside.
Cup, yeah.
Put baking soda and then add some vinegar.
Ooh.
I also did some food coloring, and look, you
the
can
yellow snow.
little
The yellow snow.
volcanoes.
That's cool.
This
Isn't
is
that
awesome.
so cute and fun?
My kids will love this.
I love it. All right, so we've
Okay.
got these amazing galaxy jars over
Yes.
here. We're
So
checking these
a
out.
little science experiment
Yeah.
while you're inside. Do a little step. These are so fun. You're going to take a mason jar, fill it 1/3 with water. I did our first step. Then
This
add
one.
cotton balls, glitter, and paint. We're going to do the second step because you're going to do it 3 times. So
Okay.
now you do another 1/3 of water.
Okay.
Dad,
Get
shoot.
your paint.
what to do.
You guys can do this.
Go ahead,
Get
come
your
on.
paint. Add your second color of paint.
I don't like him telling me what to do.
Let's go, come on.
Got it.
So nervous.
And then we're gonna just fill it with the cotton balls. And it's really cool because you see it stays layered in the different colors. You can talk about the clouds, the solar system.
Okay,
We can add more colors,
Yeah,
right?
and so you have to do water with each step.
Oh,
so
oh,
water,
layer it.
paint, glitter.
Oh, yeah, hit the glitter.
Go ahead,
oh, no,
go
no,
ahead.
Glitter
paint,
it
Go
right
ahead.
up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Glitter.
And it's
Shoot,
what
shoot.
I love about it is overnight they change. So like this one got darker, that one stayed light. They're a whole sensory.
Oh,
They look
yeah.
beautiful. My kids love these. We had so much fun making these.
This is awesome.
They're
And so this is
easy
the
to
finished
do.
product right here, right?
Yeah, finished product.
I love
And
this.
you can, honestly, you could even make these into cute little Valentines, right? Like, you're out of this world. But
Oh, that is a good
super cute
idea.
idea. Yeah.
And these are all fairly easy cleanup too, because we were talking about this. You want to do things with the kids that are fun, but it's not too messy that puts more on yourself too.
Exactly. Easy cleanup. And honestly, the best part is everything you see, it's things you have at home. You
Yeah.
can only substitute a little bit too with what you have, but easy cleanup, fun to do with the kids, and
Great.
hours of entertainment, which is what we need in this
We
cold
love it.
I
weather.
put the paper
absolutely
down and then
is.
you just fold everything up and then
And
it
there
just
you
all
go.
goes
Easy
down.
cleanup.
Yeah,
You
cleanup
have
is
it.
done.
And Mom, the secret that Shannon didn't share on air here is that moms, we can do the fun stuff and then dads can clean it up.
Yeah, that's
right?
Yes, that's
Sounds
the
good to
best
me.
mom
I
hack
get the
out there.
dishes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Moms get the
Yeah,
activities.
this is
That's
really
how
great.
clean-
Thank you so much.
This was so
Appreciate it.
fun, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
With only a few days left in January, we've got help for those of us who haven't quite stuck to our New Year fitness plan. Barry fitness instructor Annette Bristol is here right now. She's also joined by Robin over on this side, Ben over here. This is the resolution reboot, we're calling it, with total body moves that you can get on track with. Right? You can do these right at home. Welcome.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the first ones because you're talking about mobility, joint work.
Yeah, full body. So the first one we're going to start with is a squat to press. So
Okay.
lower body, upper body. And I think these two are going to show us how it's done.
Okay.
So if we're at home, we have some weights. We can use the weights. If we don't have weights.
Let's do it too.
Oh, okay.
Why not? Let's go.
We
Okay.
don't have weights. We can use wine bottles. So many options.
Wine
Cans,
bottles.
Yeah, cans.
Those
All
jumbo ones.
Yeah, so we'll sit back in that squat. Stand up nice and tall, drive right up for the press.
There you
Weight
go.
back to your shoulders, and then we'll repeat.
And those feel so good, and you feel all of your joints really working with these. Okay, so the next one, one of the other things that a lot of people don't realize is isolation moves. They're good, but you really want those compound movements.
Exactly.
What do you got for that?
All right, so one of our favorites at Barry's is a lunge to curl. So we're gonna start like this. We'll start with the reverse lunge. We'll all do it. Right back into reverse lunge. Then we'll stand up nice and tall, and we'll go for a bicep curl.
Okay.
To other side, take your time, maybe add a little time and retention.
When people say compound movement, what do they mean?
So everything. So we're hitting lower body, hitting the core, putting it together, upper body. We can even add a little press if you wanted to get fancy again at home.
Yeah, why not?
Putting together what we started in the beginning, all three of them.
Okay,
There it
awesome.
is.
All right. What do we end with?
All right, our favorite, mountain climber.
Oh, see, that's your favorite, maybe not mine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just showed my cards. All right, so we like to call this at Barry. Just obviously like it's a full body. We're hitting core, we're hitting upper body, and then we can start to pick up that heart rate.
Okay.
So, should we take it away?
Let's do it.
All right, this is it. This is how we finish. We'll start palms on the ground. Shoulders are gonna make sure they're right over your palms.
Okay.
Keep that booty down, and we're gonna start to drive those knees. Ready? This is
All right.
it. All right, drive those knees. And here you can take it at any tempo. You can pick up the tempo, get a little heart rate up.
People
Nice
really
and slow.
underestimate these body weight movements.
Exactly.
Like this, there's so much going on when you're talking about a mountain climber.
Yes. And that's it.
And that's
nice
it.
and strong.
What advice do you have for people? Because so many people are like, you know what? January's already come and gone. Maybe I'll start in February.
I mean, I think that we just put a lot of pressure on ourselves with the resolution. I think we take a moment at this week, reset, maybe restructure our goal, put in some other things, and then just build into it. Because, you know, we're looking for resolution for the whole year, not right now.
Because when you're talking about health and fitness, it's not all or nothing, right?
Exactly.
It's something where you can, a little bit helps each and every time, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, anything helps you.
Yeah, don't make it to the gym, we get outside and we walk.
You got my heart rate going
Okay.
already. Let me tell you something. If y'all at home think, oh, that was easy, it gets my heart rate going. Guys, thank you so much. Annette,
you.
Ben, Robin, thank you so much. Barry's Boot Camp.
So Samara told us it was going to warm up to the 40s. That's why Gio put on the schmedium. Sun's out, sun's out, guns out.
I love it.
Is the gym this way or is it
that way? Thank you for watching.
Love you guys. ABC News Live streaming. We'll see you tomorrow.